We go out to the Fan Hotline. Browns analyst Nathan Zegura joining us here on 92.3 The Fan. Nathan, how are we doing today?
Doing well. It's always a little bit better on a victory Monday. So, yeah, doing well. Good to be with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're feeling pretty high today, obviously. Not only just a blowout win, but also Shedeur looking the way that he did. So let's start there. Obviously, you had a few big-time plays. I loved what I saw. Obviously, there's things you can clean up as well, though, Nathan. What was your takeaway with Shedeur's first career start?
Yeah, I was very pleased. I mean, the fact is he brought a big play excitement to our offense and to our passing game that hasn't been there all year. The three longest pass plays of the 2025 Cleveland Browns season all occurred on just 20 pass attempts from Shedeur Sanders in the game against the Las Vegas Raiders. And, you think about how the blitz and cover zero blitzes from the Ravens gave him trouble the week before. I thought it was so encouraging to see him get a cover zero blitz, 3rd and 9, I believe it was, from the Raiders in the first quarter. He knows he's going to have an unblocked rusher. He's got to make one guy miss. He gets out of the pocket to the right and then throws a strike to Isaiah Bond, 55 yards in the air, on the run, on the money, to set up Quinshon Judkins' second touchdown. I thought that was just such a great ball there. I thought we saw significant improvement in terms of not drifting back out of the pocket, not turning his back to the defense and taking, these crazy sacks. He only took 1 sack in the game. So I was really encouraged. Big plays matter. Chunk plays matter. When these offenses under Kevin Stefanski have been at their best, they've been able to get chunk plays. Going back to 2020 with Baker Mayfield, obviously with Joe Flacco, there were portions of time when Deshaun Watson was playing his best football where you had some of those chunk plays. Obviously, Jameis Winston last year. That's what was missing so far this year. And to see, Shedeur Sanders bring that back was really, really encouraging. Now, he's got to do a little bit better with his eyes at times. I think his eyes led to that interception. He's got to let that flat defender get out there, use your eyes, look him out, widen him up so you can hit that stick route. But those are things that will come. That's some of the nuances. I thought the clear improvement in his pocket presence from week one to week 2 was massive. And then obviously his ability to hit the big plays. That's what this offense has been missing.
Nathan, Kevin Stefanski normally waits till Wednesday or even later in the week to tell us who the starting quarterback is going to be when he ends up in a situation like this. Didn't do that today. It is going to be Shedeur against the 49ers. What does Shedeur have to do to keep himself in that spot the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think, and it was. I love that Kevin Stefanski announced it today. I love that. Said, look, Shedeur showed us something. We want to see more of it, and really, I'd like to see him continue to get more and more opportunities because his ceiling is such that he has the potential. I mean, there's a lot to clean up and a long way to go, but the potential to make you say, oh, maybe we do have our quarterback here. As I said, long way to go, but he has that kind of upside. That's why everybody who watched the film, of him coming out of the draft had him as either a first-round prospect. Mel Kiper had him, obviously, at the top of the first round. And then those who were, quote-unquote, as detractors had him in the middle of the second round. He's got that franchise quarterback type of ability. So I'm excited about it. So what does he have to do to keep doing it? I think he has to keep showing improvement. Keep showing improvement in the pocket. Keep showing improvement in terms of using his eyes and being able to see things in defenses and taking, some of the layups, letting some of the easy schemed-up plays be easy and get those yards. Because what we saw is out of structure, he did very, very well in this game. I thought he made a nice throw, obviously, on the swing pass, very much in structure to Dylan Sampson. Got some great blocks. That was a big one. But I think that's what it is. Take care of the football. We got to get that completion percentage up. And I think that will come by getting some of those in structure, easier throws. There were a couple plays when you go back and watch tape. There's one where he rolled out left and he was waiting on the big play, and I liked it. I liked that he reads top down. But he had Jerry Jeudy on kind of a deep comeback right there, and if his feet were kind of ready for the possibility that it could go from 1 to 2, I think he hits that play, and it's an easy kind of 15-yard completion and a nice gain for the Browns offense. So those are kind of the things where you want to see some of that progress. But honestly, he keeps making big plays on offense. He takes care of the football, and his pocket presence continues to improve. There's something kind of infectious about his energy, and I would imagine that with his upside, he'll continue to get more chances.
You mentioned Jerry Jeudy. Nathan, we played the clip earlier in the show of you on the call yesterday describing what happened as Jerry Jeudy had the fumble. I was almost encouraged because it was a really nice play, not only by Shedeur, but also by Jerry, and just making the catch to begin with. And so, for me, that part can translate. How much do you see it now if we move forward with this, the idea that then he'll obviously take a different approach? So I just don't look at it as the biggest deal in the world.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things that happen in a win, so it's not ultimately the biggest deal in the world. But
yeah,
you want to have a little bit more ball security awareness right there. And I think on the broadcast, I kind of likened it to in a basketball game where you got to let somebody know. And you had some players behind them, and maybe they were trying to verbally communicate that somebody was coming from behind. And Jerry Judy's played in the league a long time. He knows that somebody's going to be running him down from behind. So he's got to do a better job with that ball security. But I think one of the things that's going to be good for Jerry Jeudy coming out of this game is, hey, the ball can come to you at any time. And I think we've seen as this season's gone on, some of the receivers maybe not thinking on their go routes, the ball's going to come to me. And we saw that with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman both in this game, and Shedeur's not afraid to throw it out there. So I think it's going to be kind of invigorating to the wide receivers and Jerry Jeudy to know, look, if you run your route hard, you get open, the ball's going to come to you. And sometimes even in a one-on-one situation, the ball's going to come to you even if you don't think you are open, to give you a shot to make a play. And that's kind of what Jameis did when he was with the Cleveland Browns. Flacco, when he had it going back in 2023, that's the kind of things they did, and it becomes infectious. So I'm hoping that there is some pickup for that, because Jerry Jeudy still can create separation. He can still get open. And you want to see him be able, when he gets that 39-yard catch and run, convert that so that it's just a purely positive play. That would have been his biggest play of the season. That was a good play for the Browns, for Jerry Jeudy. You want to see them build on that.
Yeah, what you're describing, Nathan, I love, because it's we saw that with the Ced Tillman play where he just kind of gave up on the play and didn't realize the ball was even going to come to him. Once they start realizing Shedeur can go to anybody at any time, maybe some of that goes away.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's one of the things, too, that it also stresses the defense. The defenses are going to take note. You can go watch some of our tape, and there were games where the defense go back to Pittsburgh, they were convinced the ball was not going to go over their heads. They weren't even worried that it was going to be thrown on some of those routes. Now, part of that was because Don Gabriel got hit 17 times. That game didn't have a lot of time, but that hasn't been something that we've put on tape that we're willing to throw it out there. And I think one of the biggest beneficiaries of Shedeur Sanders being the quarterback for the Browns is Isaiah Bond. I like Isaiah Bond. I've liked him the whole time. And if you go back and watch, there are probably 5 or 6 plays where he was behind the defense like he was in this one, where the ball just either didn't get to him fully or the ball was not even thrown. So, yeah, I think this is a good, and that keeps the guys engaged. That gets them excited to know that, okay, no matter what it is, even if I'm running what they call, kind of just a clear out route, if I win, I could get the football. And so I think that's a very good thing, and that's one thing Shedeur brings, certainly.
Nathan, one thing that really struck me as I was watching the game is the Browns sideline during the game. Every time they would cut to the sideline, the energy that I would see there, and this isn't against anyone who has played earlier in the season, but it felt different. The energy felt different. And, as you know, Shedeur has that very energetic personality. He's a high energy type of player. How much can that bleed into the rest of the team and maybe help these guys with 6 games to play and what has been a disappointing season in a very positive fashion going down the stretch here?
Well, first of all, you're exactly right, and it's not a comment on anybody else. It's just a comment on Shedeur and the energy he brings. But I talked to a bunch of the players today, and, yeah, they said it felt different. There was some juice, and I think you go back to that throw to Isaiah Bond. The throw to Isaiah Bond, I think, was, if this all goes well, and, let's say Shedeur keeps playing well and we keep playing well as a team, that throw was very pivotal, because we've all seen the video of Miles on the sideline.
Yep.
Miles Garrett, who right now is on a generational run and really is the best player in the NFL, period, full stop. When you get his eyes bugging out of his head, that gets people going. That's saying, wait a second, we haven't seen this in a while. Man, if we can have this along with what we're doing defensively, now we've got something. So there is a belief that all of a sudden we can go down the field quickly. We can hit big plays. We can score. We had a 52-yard pass, a 39-yard pass, a 66-yard catch and run pass in this game. I think that that's huge. So, yeah, there is a different energy, and I think that it gives the defense a little confidence. Now, the irony is you could go on the negative side and say there was basically 2 quarters of this game where we didn't get a first down. Yeah. And that's where kind of getting some of those layups to be layups and being able to get those good drive starters and being able to, pick up a few first downs, that's important. But that, I think, comes with more reps and more experience. I think that's something that he will get better, because his natural tendency is to be a playmaker, and we saw that. But I think it does give energy to everybody out there. And, I'd be remiss if I end up not getting off the air with you guys not mentioned this defense. 10 sacks 10 sacks. Miles Garrett, 13 sacks, 16 tackles for loss in his last 4 games. That's a first-team All-Pro season for a defensive end, and he's done it in 4 games. It's just what he's doing right now, incredible, and you got to give credit to Malik Collins and Mason Graham, Mike Hall, Shelby Harris, collapsing the pocket in the middle. The quarterbacks have nowhere to go, and so Isaiah McGuire and obviously Miles and Jim Schwartz moving Miles around, dialing up blitzes, getting, Devin Bush to the quarterback, getting, Grant Delpit to the quarterback, and some of those where maybe they don't get the sack, but they hit the quarterback, he moves, and he ends up running right into the waiting arms. But it is fun to watch what this defense is doing right now, really at all 3 levels. You have guys playing at a very, very high level. But this defensive line, and I talked to some of those guys today as well, they haven't gotten to play with a lead like that where the opponent had to throw the ball. They knew the opponent was throwing the ball first down, second down, third down. That's what makes kind of what Miles has done, throughout his career, even all the more impressive. But if we can get this defense some leads, teams are not going to have a chance against this defense.
Well, they were excellent, and so are you today, Nathan. We appreciate the insight as always, and we'll catch up with you later. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, enjoy it. Fun times today.
No doubt about it. Thank you so much. Nathan Zegura right there on the Fan Hotline.